Hi, everyone. So, this week's reading about the spectacle of theater and the sound of theater and the ground plans. Um, the first two chapters I really enjoyed reading. I kind of did the same thing where I was nodding along and appreciating, what it means to have a spectacle in front of you, whether that is like a children's play or a Broadway show. Um, I think that's something that brings us all back to the theater is like the spectacle of it. Um, I think that when they said in the chapter that its spectacle is there to enthrall the audience, even though we might be in the theater world as directors or actors or teachers, we all have that love for the theater when we go and we are we allow ourselves to be immersed in the sound and the scenery and the set and all of the things that encompass a spectacle of theater. Um, the sound effects part and the music, I said in my reading, and I do say this in class, that I do believe that we all have a soundtrack of our lives. And when we hear a certain sound, we hear music, it initiates an emotion from us, and we have to use that in the theater to create the spectacle. So we use that emotional impact on the audience, and it bonds us to the what we're seeing. I think the chapter that was most like reading a Greek novel in Greek to me was the ground plan um, chapter, because I've never done one. Um, I've said before that I'm not really a director. I have directed one acts, but very minimal because I teach middle school, and that's what we do in middle school. And I teach in an urban school district, so we don't have a lot of money for the arts. I'm lucky that I have the job that I do. So thinking about creating a ground plan for me was like, wow, I've seen one, obviously. But thinking about like do you want to have your set symmetrical or asymmetrical, how to balance the furniture, those things, thinking about a comfy chair or a comfy couch and not really using those because the actors can sink into them and then they can't get up. Those are things that I really hadn't thought about. So that whole chapter, I was like, okay, I think I understand. But it was sort of like plodding through it because I've never done it. That was the first time I think in the book that I was like, oh, I don't really not nodding along to this chapter. Um, and then knowing that we're heading towards like the major project where we have to, I think, create a prompt book and include a set design. I'm like, I should figure this out. So those are all my takeaways from today. Well, from this week's reading. I really did enjoy looking at the pictures of the plays that were in the middle of the book, because I think, again, as theater people, we see other people in pictures and it still can, incite that feeling of like, this is a great show, or, this looks like it would be great. Or they look so serious or happy. So I enjoyed that. The ground plan one was for me. Okay. Can't wait to do that. Okay. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.